Good day, folks. Today, I'm talking about a man who was supposed to be my first manager and trainer until my life went careening in a totally opposite direction. This man has done it all in the sport of boxing, from being an amateur boxer, going professional, to from being a trainer, manager, to actually running the most successful, at least one of them, promotional companies in the world, and it's still running today. Also, he has arguably the most career changes yet, always returning to his true love, which is boxing, which I always found sort of comical. Um, my name is Bola Raymond Olubuwale, and this is The Scoop. Born May 28th, 1922, in New York City to Italian immigrants, the sixth of seven children was none other than Lou Duva. After spending time growing up in Little Italy, New York, his family moved to St. James Place in Totowa, a suburb of Paterson, New Jersey. Now, Lou's early years was one of, well, impoverished means. And because of such, he had to start working to help the family stay afloat. So, when Lou was 10 years old, his older brother Carl introduced him to boxing. Um, by 12 years old, Lou was competing without, well, very much success. But it was arguable, it was stated that it was the reason for that it could be due to the fact that he had great difficulty finding the time to train, having to work to again assist the family. By 1938, Lou wrangled his way into the civilian conservative corps by claiming that he was 2 years older than he was by making so as to make the minimum age limit. Now, um, he was then shipped to Boise, Idaho, only to then be shipped to Wally, Texas. Yeah, sorry, Washington, not even Texas, Washington. But it was there that he learned to drive a truck. And please, as I'm going along this, count the number of career changes this man has. Okay? And we won't talk about all the stuff that he did as a child either. The following year, WW2, World War II, broke out. And he tried his hand at enlisting in that war. He was shipped to Jackson, Mississippi, but after a few too many fisticuffs uprisings with fellow cadets, they sort of, well, they transferred him to Camp Hood, Texas. At which point in time, that's actually where he got his first gig as a boxing instructor. They made him a boxing instructor over there. So, all right. Now, post World War II, Lou went back home to help with the family business and restaurant. But while he was doing that, he decided to try his hand at the professional game. Um, yeah, with a record of 6 wins, 10 losses, and a draw, the writing was on the wall. This wasn't for him. So yeah, he went back and opened a trucking business. Shortly after this, he was he was performing as a clown for the ministry, and it was while doing this he met his wife, Ina. They were married in 1949. Now, Lou went on spent a good portion of his early 50s at the Stillman's Boxing Gym in New York City. Stillman's Boxing Gym was known for two things: its legendary, its legendary fame as a filthy gym where they closed the windows to keep the smell of the sweat in. Heaven forbid you allow that glorious scent to cascade through society. They compartmentalized it and kept it in. And yeah, it was also known um, for a large number of celebrities to walk through from Hollywood and the boxing world to be attracted to the gym. It was there that Lou actually met the likes of Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Frankie Valens, uh, like a host of other celebrities. And he was already enamored by the boxing world, but he felt his passion for the sport increase by magnitudes every time he visited Stillman's gym. So while his trucking company was going really well, and with the blessing of his lovely Ina, um, he sold his 32 truck fleet and opened up Garden Boxing Gym. Now, while he was doing that, he also, because this is the kind of work ethic the man had, he became a bail bondsman. So up in Canada, we don't have these things, but in um, bail bondsmen, they go around and chase down people who skip bail. But that wasn't enough work for him, so he decided to become a teamster for the union in New Jersey. Are you still keeping count as to the amount of jobs this man has had? Okay. Um, Through his ties in the boxing world, he was now rubbing shoulders with the elite. He became really good friends with the likes of Rocky Marciano, to the point where Rocky Marciano was the first person to congratulate him after he had his first world champion fighter in Joey Gildello. When he beat Gildello, beat Dick Tiger, my fellow countryman, Nigel Mann, for the middleweight strap. Lou was the last person also to talk to Rocky before he boarded the plane that subsequently led to his death in 1969. Boxing was a family affair for Lou, in that Lou's son, Dan Duva, was a lawyer, and he was involved in the game too, you know, offering legal advice and whatnot for boxing contracts and what have you. Now, he extended his legal prowess to Leon Spinks in 1978, well, to his management, and he ended up earning $500,000 for his efforts. In doing so, he then took that 500,000 and opened up Main Event Productions, their promotional company, which is still in existence today. It's actually incredibly successful and still in existence today. Dan Duva passed away in 1996, and his widow, Kathy Duva, has ran the business ever since. This little promotional company that could, literally, got a lot of traction right out of the gate. In that, like the likes of future world champions Rocky Lockridge, Bobby Size, Livingston Bramble, all took a shining to main event and signed on with them and trained with Lou. Now, with a health scare and all the momentum and success coming his way, Lou decided in 1981 to make boxing a full-time thing, and then he really began to soar. He then went on to sign and train the likes of future welterweight champion Johnny Bumpus, future heavyweight champion Tony Tucker, and heavyweight prospect Mitch Green. The Mitch Green that had that big issue with Mike Tyson, that street fight. Anyways. In 1981 came Main Event won the rights, the opportunity to host the Leonard Hearns 1 fight, which was an astronomical success. It was the highest grossing boxing event that wasn't a heavyweight fight to date at the time. They ended up grossing $40 million, but Lou's ability to actually celebrate was cut short with, shortly after the fight, his wife was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Now, going forward another 3 years, 1984, they are on the track for success. They're doing exceptionally well. They made Bumpus, Lockridge, Bramble, and Mike McCallum all world champions. And then they hit the jackpot by grabbing the elite of the class of '84 Summer Olympic Games, the LA Games. They signed Pernell Whitaker, Evander Holyfield, Meldrick Taylor, Mark Breland. The company was genuinely off to the races. Now, all the guys became world champions a few short years down the way. Lou was exceptionally Lou was loyal to his fighters right up to his old age. He would back his fighters in any way and in any and all wars. Full stop. He says, "I've been fighting my whole life, so I know what it takes to catch a punch," he said. He once told Sports Illustrated. "You don't think I got a face looking like this being a ballet dancer, do you?" Duva was a welterweight champion of no great distinction in the 1940s. Long after, he was the fourth man in the ring, so to speak, on several occasions when his fever got the best of him. There was that November 1988 bout in Las Vegas where Duva, the cornerman for lightweight Vinny Pazienza, joined his fighter in exchanging of punches with Roger Mayweather Sr. after the final bell. Mayweather retained his super lightweight crown, and Duva came away with a cut on his cheek. Now, that man had the secret sauce to train champions, though. His resume goes on to conclude that with him having trained 19 world champions in his career. And some, just to mention, are the likes of like Michael Moore, Hector Macho Camacho, Arturo Gatti, Vinny Pazienza, Fernando Vargas. And then you have even the honorable mentions. Like, he actually trained Lennox Lewis, but this was prior to Lennox winning a world title. But he trained Lennox Lewis. He also trained your friend and mine, Egerton Marcus. There's also David Tua. Arguably a world champion, Andrew Galata, and the list goes on. Right? Duva was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1988 and lives in Wayne, New Jersey, just a few miles away from his where his family once lived, near Paterson, New Jersey. Duva remained active as an advisor and manager for a few select fighters, and is also involved in his son Dino's company called Duva Boxing. He was an outspoken advocate of fighters' rights and of helping inner city kids get off the street and into the ring. Duva died of natural causes March 8th, 2017, of declining health, but his legacy lives on to this day. He was a class act. He was a phenomenal man. I was very honored to have met him and potentially could have been his fighter. So, anyways, that's my episode. That's my show. And with that, if you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. It's your boy Bola, and that's the scoop.